Alright everybody, welcome back to the High Wire Garage. We're here in the freezing cold and we're going to start stripping some of the engine. So update since the last video, okay, I wound up getting I haven't got it yet, it's coming from Amazon, but I wound up getting a better welder. So it has the gas accessory, so it's technically a true MIG. Like the one I had was just a flux core because you were basically just using electricity to just weld. There's like no other accessory to it. So this has the gas accessory, which allows you to now cool. It almost like cools down the weld a little bit more. Plus this one has some more more settings for electricity and stuff. But this with this one, basically the gas allows from what I believe is allows like your bead to stay a little bit cooler but still stay like, you know, at a good temperature, so that all the metal around you isn't melting. Like with the flux core I'm trying to weld and it's just melting all through the steel and shit like that and getting nasty and splattering everywhere. So this supposedly helps it basically, you know, stay in a good bead, and I can hopefully get some true good welds now instead of this shit that I'm doing, because I was very unhappy with that. So hopefully when that comes in, we'll jump back on to doing the tubs and all the other stuff. For now I'm going to just continue to try to mock some of the stuff up, grind it up. I don't know if I'll take videos of that stuff just because I'm, you know, it's more or less just like little tedious stuff of just grinding, stuff like that. But for today, we're going to start disassembling some of the stuff on the engine because I want to start cleaning it. I'm going to take longer than probably usual for most people to do this because I want to go through and, like, you know, scratch brush and wire brush and clean all this stuff, because I'm going to wind up cleaning the block and then painting it. So once everything's bare, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, acetone it, or I don't know if you want to acetone it potentially. I'm going to look this up, so don't yell at me if this is wrong, but I gotta either like alcohol it or acetone it so that you can clean it up, you know, make sure it's all nice before you actually paint it, because I want it not to chip under heat or anything like that. I actually want the paint to last on this block, because hopefully this block lasts and the engine doesn't break. So today I'm gonna basically, I don't know where we're gonna start yet. I think we're gonna start by trying to remove like what is this, the top valve cover, just so we can, because I like to take a look inside the engine. So we'll remove the top valve cover. Maybe we'll try to see if we can get the exhaust manifold off, which is on the other side. So we'll wind up spinning this, and we'll jump into, I know this is the starter, the alternator's down here, so we can take off a couple of the basically big stuff and see what comes off with it, and we'll try to keep everything together at once. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to jump into basically removing this top manifold cover, or whatever it is cover. It looks like it has some hoses attached. Basically looks like there's like 10 millimeters around the whole center top to remove this. So let's try to get that off and see what happens. Again, it's probably going to be messy because I don't know, I didn't drain any oil or anything. I know the oil pan's in the bottom, which we'll get to at some point. Probably not in this video. Maybe in this video, we'll see. But we're going to start by removing these 10 millimeters off the top. Alright, so just by looking in here, everything looks pretty decent. What I can tell is that there was no gasket on there. There's no gasket on the other side, and there's no gasket down here. So looks like that's probably why the oil looks so gunky and oily around everything, because the shit leaks out. You know what I mean? This dude was probably putting oil in this sometimes because it would leak out. That's just my guess from looking at it. But next what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking out some of this wiring, and I'm going to take off the exhaust manifold on this side. So I'm going to actually place the cover back on because I don't want any shit to go in here, but I just wanted to see this. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty decent in here. So from what I could tell, everything looks, you know, generally good. I don't see any like significant damage. The chain looks like it's in decent, even though I got a new chain, it looks like it's in decent shape and stuff. But let's try to get these plugs out of here and the exhaust manifold. That should take a big chunk out of here for now. Also, I didn't know if you guys noticed, if I sound a little different, maybe I sound better, but I actually got a good mic for the camera finally. So hopefully there's no wind and it sounds decent. But next we're going to take off this exhaust manifold. Remember before we ran into the problem, I put some extra bolts in it when we wound up lifting it up. But, oh shit, you know what? That's not good. It looks like whoever fucking... Oh, no way. That's why there's no bolts. I think that somebody snapped the bolts in this. Oh. I guess we're going to find out when we take this off, but that's going to suck. I'm going to have to get those out. Fuck. Damn. Alright, well, that's okay. We run into bigger problems. As long as the block isn't correct, right? Well, these freeze plugs? Something. Alright, well next we're going to start by basically take this manifold off. We're going to have these, looks like 3 bolts that are left on here. And then if you follow this pipe back, it goes to, it looks like a union on the back side that you're just going to have to take off with a wrench. Alright, so if y'all can tell, there is some snap bolts in there, like I was just guessing. That freaking sucks. There's one down there. Those look okay. Those look okay, but then there's one down there. Ugh. So we're going to have to try to get those out of there. That's going to be a project. But the exhaust manifold's off. That's good news. And again, I didn't see any on either side. I didn't see any gaskets on either sides of this stuff. I don't know if there's supposed to be gaskets, but, and you know, I would imagine there is. And everything I do, I'm an electrician usually on the day, right? Usually during the day. Well, when I do electrical, I know just to make sure stuff seals, you should have gaskets. So I think that might be the issue. I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, silly me. Look at this. So there was a gasket sitting right here. I didn't notice it. But yeah, there was one on there. So it's okay. Alright, so I'm wiping everything up as I'm going, trying to just, you know, keep it sort of clean, or try to make, not keep it clean, but try to make it clean. But next I'm going to take off, like I said, these coil wires, or these are spark plug wires. So let's see if we can just pop them right off. Four. Okay. So we can pull that off for now. We're going to put this to the side, and then we're going to remove, is this the distributor, I believe? Now you might ask why I'm using a different impact all the time. I have a Milwaukee sometimes and a rigid. It's because I don't really like to use the Milwaukee because I'm sure I could snap bolts by using this to take it out. I usually like to just hand torque them with a hand wrench or like a socket, but this is just so much easier right now. It's cold. Alright, next thing we're going to jump into is we're going to remove this pump, which I believe this is for coolant or something maybe. It looks like there were 2 hoses that went to the top of this, but basically we're going to have to remove this pump thing or whatever, pulley system, and then the bracket itself. So there's 2 14s up here and 2 14s underneath that you have to take off, and this should be able to come off. Now I'm going to be a little careful because there is still tension because of the pulley here, so I don't know what's going to happen when I loosen this all up. So just be careful when you do this. I don't know if this is the proper way or not, but this is the way I'm doing it. Awesome. So from what I can tell, most of this side of the block is stripped. I know I have to take out, what is that, the spark plugs? Ew, that spark plug looks really nasty in there. And I tried wiping some of this stuff down so it doesn't look as bad, but it's definitely going to need some work to get cleaned up. This side of the block, I couldn't get this off totally. We're going to look into this. I'm going to read online how to take this off. I'm going to screw with this. But for now, that's about it. On this side, we'll spin it back around and maybe see about taking that starter off. Alright, so if you look right down here, the starter's just hanging, so it looks like it goes up into the alternator. There's a plug up on the alternator. Looks like 2 plugs or so on the alternator. Maybe a line or something right here. This is hard. Another line up into the block over here. And then one line that goes all the way up top to the solenoid up here. Okay, actually that comes right down. So we can put that down. That went to the tranny. So we'll disconnect this stuff and this should come right out. Alright, the next and excuse me, I got the hiccups. The next and final thing we're going to remove is going to be the alternator. I believe it's just a bolt up here on top of it, right there. Excuse me, up there. And then there's a bolt down here, and this should be able to come right out. I know this alternator's already shit because it wasn't charging the battery. Excuse me. Ugh. It wasn't charging the battery when I first picked up the car anyways, so we'll take that off and we'll have to replace that. So hopefully you guys can see me alright, but this is coming along pretty well. So we got a lot of the different components off. We got a lot of the chunky stuff. This block is definitely easier to move. Excuse me, I still have the hiccups. We definitely got some of the bigger components off today. This block is much easier to move around now. It's not as heavy. So I'm going to wind up doing some research online and seeing, because I think you can delete some of this shit. I don't think you need some of this shit because it's like emissions and stuff like that, so you don't technically need it anymore. So I'm going to see what stuff I can actually take off, and I know I don't have to put back on because I'll put that in a different pile than the stuff that I have to clean and actually put back on the engine. But again, guys, thank you for watching. I'm sort of making a lot of the videos shorter because I'm not out here as long as I was in the beginning because it's freaking cold. You know, it's the beginning of February and the weather here hasn't changed. It's like 10 degrees all day long with wind chill and shit like that. Wind chill and stuff like that. With wind chill and stuff like that, it's annoying. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, like the video. If you have anything, hit me up in the comments. Check out my Instagram too. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff on my live. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff on my live on my Instagram, so check that out. I'll put the link in the description for that. And stay tuned for more of the High Wire Garage, y'all. Peace.